Hello everyone and welcome back to Scandinavian Design 101. I'm Sanna.
I'm Andreas and we are two Swedes and we love design.
Yes, and 2021 is coming to an end and it's time to sum up the year with some auction hammer prices. A lot of interesting and spectacular design objects have been sold throughout the year, and in this video we're going to show you some of the ones we thought were most fascinating and fun.
Yeah.
And also some of the most expensive ones in the different categories, of course.
Yeah.
And they were all sold by the Swedish auction house Bukowskis in Stockholm at their modern design auctions held 2 times a year in spring and autumn.
Yes, and yeah, let's start with a glass object. The glass sculpture Klot över sphere over cone, designed in 1957 by the Swedish artist John Selbing. I think Selbing, yeah.
Never heard of it.
No. And it was made for the glassworks Orrefors. And the estimate was between 3,000 and 4,000 euro, and the knockdown price was 6,800 euro. And this is a quite funny piece because it looks like this ball of crystal is like hovering on the top of the sculpture.
Well.
And it looks quite fragile, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, man.
Yeah.
Why are we talking in euros now?
We are because the knockdown prices were given in euros, so we get the right amount here. We don't need to calculate something on our own. If you want them in dollars, you have to use some online calculator, right?
You can do that.
Yeah.
Next is the glass decanter Kremls klockor, the bells of Kremlin. Designed in 1963 by the Finnish designer Kaj Franck for the glassworks Nuutajärvi Notsjö.
Yeah.
The estimate was 2,000 to 2,500 euro and the knockdown was 7,800 euros.
Yes. It's a colorful little thing.
Decanter.
Yeah.
It is. Do we like it? No, not really.
No.
But it's a glass thing.
It looks like something, like a clown or something. Some circus thing.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Also fragile, also expensive.
Yes. And next, a stoneware jar designed in the 50s sometime by the Swedish ceramicist Wilhelm Kåge for Gustavsberg studio. And it was estimated to between 3,000 and 4,000 euros. And the knockdown was 22,500 euros.
That's a large
sum of money. And I think it's the color that makes this pop out from the rest. Because
it's white.
And it's often like blue or brown.
White is not a color.
No, white is not really a color, but it differs from a lot of other things Kåge did.
Yeah.
So it looks almost like a mine. I think.
The explosives.
Used during World War II.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Next, table Mora, designed in 1929 by Swedish architect Axel-Einar Hjorth for Nordiska Kompaniet, produced for the 1930 Stockholm exhibition. It was estimated at 10 to 15,000 euro, and the knockdown was 56,500 euros for that small table.
Yeah. I do think this is a better table than most of the other tables designed by Hjorth.
Yeah, it is. And that's why we chose it.
Yes.
Because it's more fun and something is happening.
And it's not just pure Pinewood, it's something else.
Yeah, it's a bit of yellow and stuff going on.
Yeah. And now to actually the top knockdown ever of a modern piece of furniture in Sweden.
Yeah.
And it's a cabinet designed in the late 30s or possibly early 40s by the Austrian-Swedish designer Josef Franck for Firma Svenskt Tenn. And the cabinet was covered in a map over the city of Paris. It was a city plan with all the houses and so...
Looks very cool.
Yeah. And it was estimated at about 80 to 100,000 euros. And the buyer had to pay 260,000 euros plus fees.
Yeah.
So this is extremely expensive. And the thing is that the map does it all, I think, because the cabinet by itself is very basic, and it's just shelves inside, so it's nothing special. But the plan, this Paris city plan is spectacular.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes. Moving on to a ceiling lamp, model 27, designed in the 40s by the Swedish designer Hans Bergström for his own company Atelier Lyktan. It was estimated at 2,500 to 3,000 euros, and it was sold for 49,000 euros.
Yeah, that's a lot more than the estimate.
Yeah, it really is. And it's beautiful, but it's... yellow.
Yeah.
Well, it is beautiful. It's birds and it looks like a cloud.
Yeah.
Where does the light come from? How does it look?
We can show you perhaps some pictures of the
yes.
backside of it, because it's a bit hard to understand what it looks like
I
just
see
from
it lit.
Well,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now back to Axel-Einar Hjorth again and his pinewood furniture. We have to have a pinewood table by Hjorth.
There's so many sold each year, so...
There are. And the table Sandhamn was designed in 1932 by Axel-Einar Hjorth for Nordiska Kompaniet, of course. And it was estimated at between 10 and 15,000 euros. And the knockdown was 53,000 euros. And we don't need to say much about this.
Next, a resting chair on casters designed in the 1940s by the Swedish architect Bruno Matson for Firma Carl Matson. Beautiful chair.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah, and lovely with the wooden legs.
Yeah.
I really like wooden legs on it.
Estimated at between 46,000 euros and sold for 6,300 euros, which is a lot of money, but not spectacular.
No, not spectacular, but it's actually one of my favorite resting chairs all time, because
and that's why it's on the list.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and you get this extra table too if you want.
Very
that's
nice.
Perfect for like an iPad nowadays.
And it has wheels.
Yeah,
you can roll it around.
Yes. And next is a rare rosewood china chair, model 4283, designed in 1944 by the Danish architect Hans J. Wegner for Fritz Hansen. And you see them, they are not really rare, but they are almost always made from cherry or some other light wood. But this rosewood version must be extremely rare. And it was estimated at between 1,000 and 1,200 euros. So it wasn't, they didn't really expect that much from it. No. But the knockdown was 9,200 euros. And
one chair.
Yeah, and I'm not really a big fan of the china chair by Wegner, but it looks lovely in rosewood.
But anything does.
Yes, everything is beautiful in rosewood.
I noticed that many of the things we talked about was designed in the 40s.
Yes.
Almost everything up to here.
Yeah, that's
weird.
True.
Yeah.
That's a bit strange. We normally talk about the 50s and 60s, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now to the 1919s. How do you say that?
1910th.
Yeah, that's true. And it's an engraved bowl designed in 1919 by the Swedish designer Simon Gate for glassworks Orrefors. And it was estimated at 9,900 to 14,800 euros. Oh, and it was sold for 7,800 euros. So that's much less
than
the estimate.
Yeah.
But it's still one of the most expensive glass objects.
Yes, engraved glass objects.
Yeah.
And all these glass bowls designed by Gate and Hald in the early 19th century, they are really spectacular and pieces of art.
20th century.
20th.
Not 19th century.
Moving on to a sterling silver candelabra called TV412, designed in 1972 by the Finnish designer Tapio Virkala for, and then these names. Yeah, something like that. I mean, the Scandinavian languages are quite similar, but then when it comes to Finnish, then it's completely different.
Totally different.
Yeah, we don't. But you can read what it's called. But it was estimated at 5,900 to 6,900 euros, and the knockdown was 7,300 euros. So it's expensive, but it's a real sterling silver candelabra. So
it's like almost the silver price.
Yeah, almost. Well, yeah, but it's beautiful. And Tapio Virkala is Tapio Virkala.
Yes. The next thing is not beautiful.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's ugly.
That's why I chose it, but I'm almost disgusted by it actually.
Yeah, it's something
a
very
unique terracotta sculpture of a bull executed in 1955 by the Swedish designer Erik Höglund. He often did these like bulls, but not this ugly.
No, he did it like early in his career. He was like, I think he was 22 or something, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is...
You mean he did bulls when he was 22?
No, this one he did early, so he was almost like a student. But still, it looks almost like a man.
Yeah, and it's something with the color. It's really disgusting.
Like skin color.
Yeah, and it was estimated at 800 to 1,000 euros, and it was actually sold for 7,800 euros. So...
Yeah, and it's not the best thing made by Höglund, I think.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it anymore. Moving on.
Yeah, and this thing is a beautiful thing. It's a carpet called Magdalena Yellow, designed in 1967 by the Swedish designer Barbro Nilsson for the company Märta Mås Fjätterström. And it's yellow and it's happy, and I think we looked a bit on the carpets on the auctions, and bright colors are good now.
Of course.
And yellow is also a good color if you want to sell a carpet.
Lovely color.
And it was estimated at 25 to 30,000 euro, and it was sold for 34,000 euro. So it's just a good estimate. And that's a good price, and it's a really beautiful carpet.
It is. Next is a mirror designed in 1940 by the Austrian-Swedish designer Josef for Firma Svenskt Tenn again. Made from mahogany covered in boa constrictor.
Yeah.
A snake. Oh.
It's, yeah.
Gotta beep that.
Yeah.
Can't curse. Well, it's... I'm against using animals like that.
Yeah.
But it looks... great.
Yeah, and it's a vintage item.
Yeah. And it was estimated at 20 to 25,000 euros and was sold for 23,500 euros, so just in between.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a conversation piece at least.
It really is.
Yeah.
Almost looks fake.
Yeah, it almost looks fake because it's so...
geometric.
Yeah. Quite strange, but yeah.
It is.
And now a pair of carved easy chairs attributed to the Swedish artist Otto Wretling. They were not sure, of course, then he actually made them. And they were Art Nouveau, early 20th century. And this kind of furniture were made in Sweden at that time by a lot of different artists. And it's a lot of work, of course. And some of them look really spectacular. Some of them looks even better than these, I think.
Yeah,
But they were estimated quite low at between 2 and 2,500 euro. But the knockdown price was 15,000 euros. So that was, of course, a good knockdown.
Yeah.
And possibly someone recognized them. They could have seen them in some old pictures. And if you can identify them and say that it is Otto Wretling and they were used in this interior, then they are, of course, worth a lot of more money. Yeah.
Next is a unique sideboard designed in 41, the
40s again,
by the Danish architect Ola Höjer, produced by the master cabinet maker Herluf Sørensen.
Yeah.
And I chose this because I love it. I don't really know why, but something with the shape and the wood, and I just love it. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, the wood is lovely in this one.
It was estimated at between 4 to 5,000 euros and sold for 6,400 euros, and I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think so. It's a lovely piece of furniture. It's something on the upper side. Is it like a bowl or something in it? I'm not sure.
Not sure either.
No, but it's lovely.
It is.
And that was the last item. And this was also the last episode this year.
Yes, it was. So happy New Year.
Happy New Year. There will be a new episode next week as usual, but and if you like this last episode of the year,
please click thumbs up and subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram. We are called Scandinavian Design 101.
Yes, you should. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.